So thank you for inviting me here. I'm Shirish Sankhe. I'm founding partner and director of ISEG Foundation. Around 20 years, 15 years ago, when I was in McKinsey and Company, we put together a report called Vision Mumbai, and some of our partners at that time are sitting here. And I was surprised to find recently that 70% of the recommendation made in that 2005 report and the subsequent war rooms that happened from 2015 onwards actually were implemented. So it's good to see that reports are not always reports, but sometimes do get implemented. And therefore, it is our hope that this particular report will also have a lot of traction and will get implemented. So this particular report was done with Niti Aayog and Government of Maharashtra, right? And MMR actually, let me just make sure that, yeah. Just making sure that this works, yeah. MMR was actually the first city region to complete its economic master plan. And the important thing is that while it says economic master plan, it's not just focused on economy and investment, but also quality of life and inclusivity and sustainability, because those are important pillars. The next chart says that we had a lot of work done, which is 75 plus interaction, 100 plus reports. Okay, it went on for around 6 to 9 months. And by the way, when we presented this report to the Chief Minister and Honorable Chief Secretary, it went on for 45 minutes, but I have been given only 15 minutes here, so I'll try to quickly give you a glimpse of what's in the report, and it just came out in September, which is last month. So it's very fresh, and it looks at Mumbai and Mumbai Metropolitan region for 2030 and 2047, right? So we used a slightly extended MMR, and many of you know Greater Mumbai quite well, I hope, but MMR, which is the Mumbai Metropolitan region, may not be that well known, right? So we extended it. There is a big port in the north coming up called Wadhwan Port. The Prime Minister just announced it. It was also a big part of our report for the economic master plan, and there is a port called Dighi in the south. So the MMR region has both these ports plus an area of around 6,000 square kilometer, around 24 million of population currently. Greater Mumbai is around 12. It's around 20% of Maharashtra's population and 33% of Maharashtra's GDP, right? So that's the region that we considered, and one of our key hypothesis is that it's not just Greater Mumbai, but it's the Mumbai Metropolitan region. And with that, we put, just a second. Yeah. The aspirations that were put, which is an economy of around 140 billion right now, Mumbai Metropolitan region, to get to 300 billion and to 1.5 trillion by 2047. Tokyo Metropolitan region is currently around 2 trillion. And the Paris metropolitan region is around 750 billion. Of course, this is the 2047 aspirations, and around 300 billion by 2030, right? With 3 million jobs, 30 lakh jobs created during this time. If you look at Greater Mumbai, it's, Greater Mumbai and MMR are just giving a quick comparison, right? Currently around the Mumbai metropolitan region around 24 million, which will move to 38 million population. But the population percentage of Greater Mumbai, as we have seen in London, New York, and elsewhere, will drop to around 1/3, whereas the GDP will continue to stay around 60% as we go towards 2047. More importantly, around 3.5 million people are expected to enter the workforce by 2030, and therefore creation of those jobs is quite important. Similarly, the female participation rate, and this is an India-wide problem, is quite low in MMR, and that also needs to improve at least by 3 or 4 percentage points. So these were all taken as aspiration. Now, what's the good news? As I said, that a lot of recommendations, especially on infrastructure, were implemented, and therefore, good news, okay, is that MMR is on a very positive growth trajectory on the back of more than 50 billion, billion of infrastructure investments over the last 10 years. Okay, and many of those projects are not fully completed. They will complete, but that you will sort of notice some of them, like the Atal Setu, the Navi Mumbai Airport, right, the bullet train, but also almost 337 kilometers of metro corridor. This forms a great base for both economic growth as well as quality of life growth going forward. So that's the good news. The other good news is also the endowments. I won't take you through the endowments, but it's one of the most cosmopolitan metropolis. It's a financial capital of India, right? It will now have global connectivity with 2 airports and so on. I won't take you through this, but there are huge number of endowments. We also compared, and I won't take you through the benchmarks, but we also benchmark Mumbai and MMR across various parameters. The especially stark one was the green spaces one, which we know, and we need to do something about it, and I think there's a whole set of central parks planned now going forward. Similarly, another stark parameter, as I already said, is the female participation, right? So with that, we said, what are the growth drivers? And the growth drivers is not just economic growth drivers, it's the quality of growth drivers as well. So we came up with 7 growth drivers to convert MMR into a $300 billion economy. And I will take you through growth driver by growth driver, but it's around $150 billion of GDP increase, around 3 million jobs in the next 7 to 10 years. And we focus on the next 7 to 10 years because if you get that decade right, then the momentum is sort of automatic towards 2047. So the growth driver number 1 is obvious, right? MMR as a global services hub. Financial services you already understand, but remember Mumbai will have soon 150 million passengers with 2 airports, almost rivaling Dubai, right? So it will be a great aviation hub. So everything around aviation will be a very good growth driver. Mumbai MMR region has only 10% of the GCC, Global Capability Center share, but Bangalore has 40%. So therefore, can we make it as a big GCC center? Similarly, data centers. The undersea cables actually land in Mumbai. So can it be one of the well-known data centers with 4 to 5 gigawatts of renewable energy going in? So this is the services hub. It will add around $50 billion of GDP and almost 1 million jobs. Okay. So therefore, a very important hub. That is growth driver 1, right? If we go to growth driver 2, that's on housing. Very important. You will see that Mumbai has almost 40% people living still in slums, not consistent with a global city. So therefore, adding around 3 million households or 3 million houses rehabilitation is the second growth driver, very important. And you will see that this is one of the most difficult growth drivers because historically we need a 15x increase in velocity or rehabilitation of slums going forward to really make this happen, to make Mumbai less than 10% slums by 2030 and of course slum-free by 2047. It also includes a lot of affordable housing for the talent that is coming in. One of the key economic principles we use, you attract the talent, economic growth happens. And that equation is quite important, right? So we have done a lot of work on this growth driver 2. I won't take you through the details. Growth driver 3 is something quite underrepresented right now. MMR has 300 kilometers of coastline, right? And we hardly use, and that is just one of the tourism parameters. So it's the growth driver 3 about making Mumbai as a global tourism hub. Of course, people from Paris know what a global tourism hub means. There are 45 to 50 million international tourists that go through Paris. The Mumbai number is 1 million, right? So there's a 50x increase possible. But even if we take the target as 5x, it has a huge potential. So there's a whole set of projects that we have put together. Just $1 billion of government investment required, comparatively small to the 50 billion that is already made. And a whole set of projects which focus on, of course, the coastline, the Flamingo Park, the Sanjay Gandhi National Park, all the colonial monuments, and so on, right? And of course, the coastline, right? So therefore, that is growth driver 3. Growth driver 4, which you will not necessarily think about Mumbai, manufacturing and logistics, right? But Mumbai is already the number 1 logistics hub of India, okay? And with the 2 ports coming up, okay, it will be the largest logistics hub. And it also have it's already a partly manufacturing hub, not in the city, but around, right? But we are saying that it's a 7 sort of value chains with around 25 billion of GVA, and it will need development of 6 industrial cities. And I'll give you an overall view on what we are talking about in terms of number of projects. So that's growth driver 4, right? Growth driver 5 is again something that next one. Can we move this one? Yeah. Growth driver 5 is the planned urbanization, and I'll show you geographically this, but it includes around 19 cities or business hubs to make this economic growth and quality of life happen. And one of the important project is actually the Port Trust land development for open spaces, recreation, housing, and tourism. And this has been done, as you know, around the world. Canary Wharf is a great example near London. Similarly, San Francisco, Singapore, Shanghai, and so on have taken their disused docklands into real both economic and quality of life hubs. So this is a very important project. Dependent on the central government, though, the port is owned by India's federal government. So that's one of the key pushes and the projects that we have recommended. Similarly, we also took some inspiration from the Paris Metropolitan region, especially the Paris-Saclay. I hope I'm pronouncing this right, the La Défense area and so on, and the metro network. So it could be a great counterparty to understand how to make distributed development happen, and perhaps an MOU should be signed between the Mumbai Metropolitan region and the Paris Metropolitan region. In addition to that, as a part of our growth driver 5, we have also recommended that, can we take it to one? Yeah, sorry, no, one, yeah. We have also recommended that citizen amenities are critical, and then we have recommended these 9 critical ALTAs, as we call it, amenities for livability and talent attraction in new and existing cities. And this requires, by the way, only 10% of the overall investment, quite critical, was not done historically. This, of course, requires schools, colleges, housing, hospitals, and so on, but also a lot of citizen recreation infrastructure. So that's one of the recommendation of growth driver 5. If we go to growth driver 6, yeah, next one, please. Growth driver 6, the one behind that, yeah. So I won't take you through growth driver 6 and 7 in detail, but it's about really the sustainability and circularity leader in India and achieve net zero by 2047. So there's a whole set of projects behind it. And growth driver 7, which is the infrastructure itself, yeah. Next one, please. Yeah, is the entire infrastructure, especially the connectivity infrastructure is coming together, but water, the citizen amenities, and sustainability infrastructure, right? So with that, if all these 7 growth drivers and the projects that I will mention are done, with that, yeah, sorry, not this, the one before this. Yeah, with that, it will result into a sort of a significant physical footprint, right? Almost 3 million affordable houses, 175 million square feet of office space, another 15,000 hotel rooms, 30 new colleges, 70 million square feet of additional warehousing space, 15,000 tertiary hospital beds, and another 12,000 hectares of industrial area. This is the sort of the land blueprint of this particular one. Now, how do you implement it? As I already said, the previous report was implemented, at least to a 70% level. So we have converted it into really a set of 30 projects, 8 policies, 9 institutional shifts, which will attract around $190 billion of total investment, 70% of this coming from private sector. So geographically, I'm almost at the end of my presentation. Geographically, let me see how these projects look like, right? So, yeah, so the 3 ports, right? So we say 3 large ports and 6 industrial cities, many of them around the ports. That gets the manufacturing and logistics growth driver going, right? 4 major tourism hubs, right, which are Gorai, Mumbai, Port Trust, Alibag, and Navi Mumbai, Aero City, right? And 11 hubs for 7 champion services as well as affordable housing. I won't take you through those, but as you can see, they're spread all over, many of them in Greater Mumbai and some outside Greater Mumbai, right? Similar to what Paris got done in terms of its hub. So with that, it's a sort of an all-round development of MMR with the 30 projects that we talked about. What I showed here is around 23 of the 30 projects, that how they go for geographically, right? And as I said, the investments will come from mostly 70% private sector, but the catalytic investment of policies and infrastructure will be done by the government. And many of these investments by the government are NPV positive, so therefore it should be done. Now, how do you implement it? The last chart, and Honorable Chief Secretary is here, but we had recommended architecture for implementation with a governing body led by the Honorable CM and a steering committee chaired by the Honorable Chief Secretary. I hear that this has already been formed, okay, already announced, and the first meeting is supposed to happen next week of the implementation plan, and a full-time PMU and war room has already been appointed. So I hope that this particular report gets implemented along with many other recommendations, and maybe the Mumbai interviews that we do 10 years from now, we'll look back and see Mumbai into a bustling, MMR into a bustling metropolis. Thank you.